Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. This is the bullet short revision series for CBSE Class 12 ahead of your English examination. What I am doing is to put the entire story poem in about 10 bullet points and then looking at some MCQs, some extract based questions, some subjective questions, right? Now, some of the MCQs and the extract based questions are from the specimen papers that CBSE has put out in the past. The subjective question and answers are written by me, right? So the Lost Spring is the second chapter in your Flamingo textbook. What happens in this poem written by it's the story. It's a collection of two stories written by Anish Jung, who's quite a famous storyteller. She writes about the rag pickers of Seemapuri, which is a locality in Delhi, and also the bangle makers of Firozabad. Now, the chapter is about the perpetual poverty, that is the kind of cycle of poverty that kids essentially live in, or youth, let's say, of certain groups of people, and the tradition, like in the case of bangle making, that is passed on from generation to generation. But the younger generation does not really find much hope in the future if they continue with this occupation of bangle making. It says it is a vicious cycle of exploitation. It sensitizes, the two chapters sensitizes the reader. As we read it, it opens our eyes to a very different kind of world, very different from the kind of world we live in, right? So it sensitizes the readers to step forward to save the childhood. Why is it the lost spring? The spring, the word spring refers to the lost childhood. Lost, this could well have been lost childhood, right? It could have been lost children, right? That is, the childhood of these children has been completely lost. They have not experienced the joys of childhood, the carefree life, the period of childhood, a beautiful human life that so that many children would be able to avail the opportunities to realize their dreams. So what are the points that you need to remember? You don't need to note down anything. Just look at this, because all these chapters you have already studied. This is just meant to be a revision. So the first story, we have this character called Sahib Alam, which means Lord of the Universe. This translation, this understanding is important. What he does is to live a life by being a rag picker, picking up from the sifting from the garbage. He lives in Seemapuri and he walks barefoot. Barefoot is an important point, and I've written a question and answer on this, because the shoes are some kind of a metaphor for the kind of life that he probably aspires for. What are the living conditions in Seemapuri? It is a locality on the outskirts of Delhi, yet miles away from it, home to about 10,000 rag pickers. They make their living by rag picking. Houses have roofs made of tin and tarpaulin. There is no proper drainage or sewage system. The food and survival are more important than an identity. You are every day, it is a hand to mouth existence. Every day you are kind of fighting for survival, basic survival. Garbage to them is gold, as it is a means of survival, because only when they do this rag picking, they may find something precious in the garbage which has been discarded by somebody, knowingly or unknowingly. And for them, therefore, it is a means of survival, because they can sell that and make some money. So this is as far as the first story is concerned. What about the second story? Second story, we meet a character called Mukesh, who is the bangle maker of Firozabad. He works in rather high temperature conditions, which are hazardous working conditions. He dreams of being a motor mechanic because he wants to break away from the tradition of bangle making, which his family has been pursuing for many years. The hazards of working in bangle, glass bangle factories, high temperatures, they are exposed to that. Long working hours in front of hot furnaces. Eyes are more adjusted to the dark than the light. So they all spend more hours inside dark rooms than being exposed to the sunlight outside. They're exploited by moneylenders, the police, the bureaucrats, and the politicians. So it is a life of exploitation. The fear of being ill-treated by the police. They live in a state of intense poverty. They live in stinking and very unhygienic conditions, which is overcrowded place with humans and animals. So you see, far from perfect. It is not a kind of a life anyone would really like to live. So let's look at some extract based questions. I hope This helps you re-revise what you have already studied, I hope, multiple times. What are the extract based questions that we are looking at? This is the first extract. Just go through it quickly. I'm not going to read it out. Just go through it, and then we will look at some of the questions that follow this particular passage. This is from the first story about Sahib-e-Alam. Right? I'll give you 10 more seconds to read, and then we will start with the passage, the questions. Okay, let's start. An army of barefoot boys that appear like morning birds is what figure of speech is being spoken about. So you see here an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds. So whenever you see the word like or the word as, that means it is a simile. Okay, be very clear about that. In any sentence you see this, that means it is a simile. Okay, now these questions, let me tell you, I've taken pains to collect it from different sources. Now these are put by the CBSE board in Patna, in Delhi, in Kolkata, one more board I forget. So I've taken it from multiple sources, so you get an idea about how the minds of teachers, senior teachers in different cities are working. So it gives you a good practice ahead of your board exam. So this answer is a simile. It refers to what in the first sentence? It refers to the meaning of Sahib-e-Alam, which means Lord of the Universe. You can mention that also. Okay. Then the third question, how is the author able to recognize each one of them? The author, Anis Jung, is able to recognize each one of them as she visits them very often. Therefore, she is able to identify each one of those boys who is a rag picker. Why does the author compare the army of barefoot boys to birds? So you see, that's why I always believe anyone who tells you कि story का summary पढ़ लो काफी है, summary पढ़ोगे तो इस तरह के competency focused questions you will not be able to attempt. In order to be able to attempt and score in the high 90s, anyone who is telling you that just read the summary and you will score in the high 90s is basically, and I say this with all the authority at my command, is actually cheating you, is actually frauding you. It won't happen. Trust me, it won't happen. You will never be able to answer this kind of a question. You will not know what is the context of the story. So please read the story at least 3 times. You still have time. 3 times, just read the story quickly. They are not complicated stories. And then do the question so that you have a better understanding of what to expect in the examination paper. So the author compares the army of barefoot boys to birds because both keep searching for food and other material on the road. The boys are searching, the birds are also searching. The birds are also sometimes perched on the garbage, and the crows and the stuff, birds like that, they also are looking for garbage. So that is what is the comparison all about. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Let's look at extract 2. Please go through this extract. I'm not reading the entire one. Please read this extract, and then we will go to through the question. I'm giving you 15 seconds to do so. This is also from the first story of Sahib-e-Alam, the rag pickers of Seemapuri. The reason why I am explaining in English is also because there has been a lot of appreciation for the fact that probably this is the only channel which teaches in English, CBSE material, CBSE content, and there are so many channels which teach in Hindi. So why add to the crowd? So I would prefer to teach in English, for even if the numbers are few, it doesn't really matter. But yes, we would like the numbers to be more so that more people, because I really believe unless you train your mind to think in English, you would struggle when you're writing your answer, is something which I strongly believe in. Okay, I hope you have read this particular extract. Let's go through the questions. Why is garbage equivalent to gold for the people of Seemapuri? This is something which I already explained in the revision notes. Because, yeah, so the answer would be, okay, that's a fourth option also. So the answer would be C. The answer is rag picking helps them earn money for their basic needs. Why is garbage wrapped in wonder for the children? Now again, as I said, unless you have read the story, summary padhoge to nahi samajh mein aayega ye kya likha hai. Why is it wrapped in wonder? which is why please read the story for your own benefit. So the four options are these. Why is garbage wrapped in wonder? Yeah. So the option is C. They find the possibility of finding treasure in the garbage exciting. Sometimes they may find something very, very precious, right? And that is something there. In any case, otherwise they can sell it and make money on it. And survival in Seemapuri means rag picking. Which of the following assumptions can you make from the following sentence? Okay, this is again an MCQ. Read the four options. No one can enjoy rag picking. So option C is out, B is out, right? So the option A is the correct option. When you can find a silver coin in this thing, you don't stop scrounging. Now you need to know the meaning of the word scrounging, what exactly it means, right? So which of these can replace the word scrounging without changing its meaning, right? So scrounging essentially means to search. So option C. Subjective questions. Now the tea canister. Now please go through the answers. The way I have written them, this is the way to write a perfect answer so that you can score that 2 out of 2, 3 out of 3 kind of marks. Now the tea canister, which is again part of the first story about Sahib Alam, is different from the plastic bag that Sahib Alam would carry when he would be looking for the. Now he has got a job as a milkman, as someone who delivers milk. In the book Lost Spring by Anis Jung, the tea canister and the plastic bag represent the change that has come about in Sahib's life, right? The tea canister of the present time is a symbol of a stable job, that but lack of freedom, while the plastic bag of the past represents poverty and scarcity, but a sense of carefree life. So you need to establish and bring out the stark contrast between the past and the present, between the plastic bag and the milk, the tea canister. That's important. So the first paragraph establishes it very clearly. The tea canister symbolizes a sense of duty. Now this is the second point. That's what I'm saying. If your answer is comprehensive, no one can prevent you from scoring a 95 plus in the English examination. Symbolizes a sense of duty, while the plastic bag conveyed joy, right? Because there was a sense of carefree life. The canister is heavier than the plastic bag. Now you see the number of points I have been able to write. Now this answer is written by me. The plastic bag, the canister is heavier than the plastic bag and hence seems like a burden. The two, that is the plastic bag and the canister, are powerful symbols in the story to illustrate the life of the rag picker who has now seemingly moved up the ladder in life. So from a rag picker, someone who sells milk is obviously someone who is slightly up the social ladder. But along with that, he has also lost something. He has gained something, most definitely, but he has also lost something in the bargain. Your answer needs to convey all those different layers. It's like an onion that you need to peel. I hope you appreciate that. What does the garbage mean to the rag pickers? Garbage to the rag pickers of Seemapuri is gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads, even if it is a leaking roof. It is only when they sift the garbage, that is search through the garbage, like a fine artist. So it's almost like artistry. How do you sift through the garbage, pick up the right items to sell it and make money, that they can make their two ends meet? Two ends meet, you're using an idiom to stylize your answer. As a class 12 student, that's expected of you, that you are able to make two ends meet, or you say to earn a living. To garbage, therefore, is like a ticket to daily survival. Now look at the kind of idioms I have used in order to make. See, my funda is very clear. I want each one of you to get a 95 plus. I am not here to teach you to score a 65 on 100 or a 75 on 100. My target is 95 on 100. So that is the thing. So if you and I are on the same page, let's continue with this. Sometimes, of course, they are lucky to find currency in the garbage, because there are a whole lot of people who say 99 aa jayenge, 99 aa jayenge. Tarika sahi hai ya nahi? That's what is important. So they will find currency in the garbage. Describe the irony in Sahib's name. In his name, what is the irony? Now, this is again a question where you need to delve into things which are deeper. Just read it once along with me. You will register this in your mind. You're all intelligent children. Sahib's full name was Sahib-e-Alam. You can take a screenshot if you please. Sahib's full name was Sahib-e-Alam, which translates to Lord of the Universe. The irony, however, is that he's not even his own master. Forget being Lord of the Universe. He's not even his own master. In his previous life as a rag picker, therefore, of course, a carefree life, but he had to earn a living every day. He didn't go out, he wouldn't get anything to eat. But later on, as a milkman, he's not his own master. In his first innings as a rag picker, he leads a hand to mouth existence who has to survive on discarded items to make a living. In his second innings at a tea stall, he has lost his freedom and has to carry out his master's bidding or orders. He's no longer a sahib. You see the way I have kind of, encapsulated it, told the meaning, brought out the irony in his first innings, in his second innings, and therefore I say he's no longer a sahib, right? That's how you need to structure your answers. Okay. Seemapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it, metaphorically. Explain. Your answers don't need to be long, but they need to be crisp, tight, to the point. Delhi is the capital of India, the capital. Okay, यहाँ पे the capital लगा देना. Delhi is the capital of India and therefore gives the impression of being an affluent metropolis. Affluent means a place where everyone does reasonably well. However, Seemapuri, which is located on the periphery of Delhi, is metaphorically miles away from the national capital. The people here live a life of misery and in a perpetual state of poverty. Rag picking, which they practice for a living, puts them at the bottom of the income pyramid, surviving on discarded items of the people of Delhi. Their houses are structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage, or running water. They live without an identity, with the ration card that allows them to buy grain the only luxury. Survival is all that matters to them. So when you get a question which we talk about, the Seemapuri as a symbol, it is part of Delhi, which is a rich city, but you're also on the periphery. You're not part of the main Delhi, which has a different kind of identity from that of Seemapuri. Okay. Give one reason why you think Mukesh's dream is a spark of daring. This is from the second story from Firozabad. Now, Mukesh comes from a family of Bangle sellers who have been in the trade for generations. Yet he hopes to break away and become a motor mechanic. So that's what shows his daring to dream. To dream, like APJ Abdul Kalam used to say, that you need to have the dreams of wings to fly high. He does not wish to lead the same life of drudgery as a bangle maker. Hence, his dream is a spark of daring because it needs courage to not follow the herd and attempt something different, break away from the routine, not follow the herd and not have a herd mentality कि सभी bangle sellers कर रहे हैं मेरे generation वाले, मैं भी वही करता हूं because it is in the comfort zone. My parents, grandparents, everyone has done it. It was passed to generation. I can continue. But he knows that it has a very bleak future. So this is why his dream is one of daring. How do the rag pickers, including Sahib, feel about footwear? What does it convey? Now, this is an important question. The story portrays how the street children feel about wearing footwear because it's a symbol of respect. It's a symbol of their aspiration for a better life. They see footwear as a luxury that is out of reach for them, and they are envious. Envious means jealous of those who have the privilege to wear shoes or sandals. So since they don't have the footwear, they feel deprived, they feel left out, they feel poorer compared to the other people in Delhi. When Anis Jung asked one of the rag pickers why wasn't he wearing chappals, he tries to gloss over its absence by saying his mother won't bring them down from the shelf. Another boy seeks shoes. Sahib gets to wear shoes which are discarded shoes of a rich boy. One of them even has a hole. But for someone who walked barefoot, even a shoe with a hole is like a dream come true. So you see, I have quoted a lot from the story, told the story in order to explain why the footwear is such an aspiration. Overall, the children in Lost Spring feel a mixture of envy, longing, and hope when it comes to wearing footwear. They understand that shoes and sandals represent a better life and they aspire to have them someday. Now, I put a couple of test questions which I want you to kind of prepare the points for, just in case something like this comes. Actually, one question. In some other, I put two questions. Little children have to work at the age of their mental and physical development. Write a letter to the editor of a newspaper in about 120 words, highlighting the abject means very harsh conditions of poverty and the need to rehabilitate them in schools. This kind of a question also you can get. So you need to take elements from the story and write a letter to the editor in 120 words, highlighting these 2 points. This is the condition in which they live. You write that in about 50 words. How to rehabilitate them, you write that in the remaining 60 to 70 words. That's how you write a letter to the editor. So this is something which you need to prepare, because I see these kind of questions also come in the examination. I hope this has been of use. Please let me know if this has been of use. Share the videos with other friends who you think also deserve a 95 plus in the examination. When I say 95 plus, I'm actually being conservative. Follow these videos, you can actually score a 98 and more, right? That's what I want. I wish for each one of you. I will now see you in the next video of yet another chapter from Flamingo and Vistas. Thank you very much. God bless you. All the best.